Welcome to the RPGamer review of Traysia. This is written by Nix, read by Sparumbress, and the video is edited by Frog. While the Sega Genesis is not known for being an RPG powerhouse, it did have a few successful franchises with the Shining series and Phantasy Star. It also has a bunch of other one-off that never made big names for themselves. Telenet Traysia was released in 1992 and received tons of unfavorable reviews upon release due to its cumbersome control, repetitive gameplay, and boring quests. In 2026, Ratalaika Games and Shiyuden decided to revive the questionable classic for modern console and PC. While gaming preservation is a wonderful and noble gesture, there are games meant to be lost in time, and sadly, Traysia is one of them. In the port town of Joanna, the game protagonist Roy dreams of adventure. Before Roy goes, he is giving a special pendant from his sweetheart, Traysia, who he is leaving behind. Roy travels to the kingdom of Saloon to begin his adventure, only to learn that travelers are being attacked in the northern forest. Roy joined a party consisting of 3 individuals, Benji, Magellan, and Floyd. Unfortunately, during their expedition, Floyd betrayed the party for his own nefarious reason, and Roy and his companions soon learn that there is more going on in the kingdom than at first glance. Upon returning to Saloon, the party meet a young mage named Belanu, who explained that Floyd has a history of manipulating rulers and causing chaos. Roy and the party vow to bring peace to all of the kingdom and exact revenge on Floyd. Traysia's narrative is very basic and uninspired. Although the game is broken into 5 chapters, nothing about the story feels engaging or exciting, and in fact, at times, it's quite messy. A lot of the chapters don't connect well, and some of the character reveals were likely revolutionary for their time but now feel dated in 2026. There's also the problematic element of players spending a great deal of time with one female character who clearly loves the protagonist, only to see her rejected for a character who has exactly 5 minutes of screen time. But since the game is named after her, apparently she get a pass. It's so hard to care about this character and their world when everything feels either convenient or not thought out. There is just so much disjointness in the character that other than the connection with Floyd, they don't feel like they worked well together, leaving the player to question what the point of the story was in the end. While the dialogue is hilariously bad and kind of camp, Traysia's overall narrative lacks excitement, making whatever bit of story one gets a slog to get through. Speaking of slug, Traysia got even more problem beyond its dull narrative. The game features messy UI, wherein players will spend too much time guessing what each icon meant and what it does. Player can move inventory around and pass it to other party members, but there are no indicator to check one gears to find out if it's better than what is equipped. It's so hard to know what player is clicking on because the icon is faded as well. Present throughout the game is a large text box that take up too much space on the screen, even when there's no dialogue presently happening. It's also hard to navigate menu once in them, as there are also no way to sort item or know what the item carrying capacity even is. There's also no way to figure out which character can equip which weapon without fumbling through multiple screens, only to be told the character cannot equip it, and then continue the guessing game of who the item is for. It's so poorly designed, terribly explained, and offer no assistance to the player beyond having to fiddle around with it and hope something makes sense. Even worse than the menu is the game idea of turn-based combat. Players' characters will start at the bottom of the screen and will march towards the enemy. However, in true Traysia fashion, players will have to highlight the enemy they wish to attack and hope that the character will even approach the right one. Characters like Belanu can only attack in the 4 cardinal direction, meaning that unless the enemy is directly in front of her, she can't hit anything with her attack or magic. In fact, magic is just useless in this game simply because the players can actually target the enemy and often end up hitting the player's character. One's probably thinking that moving will be obvious solution to that problem, but Traysia doesn't explain to the player that defend and move are the same button. Once the player figures that out after numerous tries or accidental defending, it's still not useful, as the player can select where they want the character to go, but the pathfinding will still make other decisions. And multiple instance characters will all be lined up in a row, and no matter how many times this reviewer attempted to move them off of each other, the pathfinding insisted that everyone being on top of each other clearly make the most sense. It get to the point where using the new cheat provided in this edition become much more appealing. Players can turn on cheat on the main menu, which include giving all the character infinite health and mana and up to 9,999 gold. However, there is even an issue with this element. If the player turn on the 9,999 gold cheat, it means they cannot gain any more money throughout the game, and there are weapons and items that exceed that amount. How stupid is that? It's a cheat that can be turned on but also negated at the same time. How is that a cheat? While the infinite health and mana are great, the additional money cheat doesn't work. And players are better off googling the classic infinite money cheat that exists in. The graphics are also bland and lacking any personality. A lot of the game is brown, upon a bit of green and red, but mostly brown. The dungeon and overworld are empty, with so little to explore. Thankfully, this version has a rewind, which why will one use? And a turbo speed option, which should definitely be used, given how boring everything is in this game. Having the option to at least speed up the pain has many benefits. The soundtrack is also painful to listen to, but thankfully, Turbo Mode also removed the music while in use. The town and store team in particular are gratingly cheerful, just adding to the torture on how bad this game is. And the battle team is so hyped up for such a crappy combat system. Even the sound effects are terrible, as going into any building sound like the player is walking down a flight of stairs. Why is that even necessary? If there is any positive in Traysia, is that the game is mercifully short, clocking in around 10 hours to complete. And for those playing on PlayStation, completing the game will also give a platinum trophy for one's troubles. The game also has lovely cutscene art that is reused so often that it loses all meaning after having to see Roy dream of Traysia every chapter. This version also allows players to enjoy the game in Japanese as well, though the biggest question is why one will play Traysia at all, given what a mess it is. Traysia is a relic with nothing to offer anyone, as it struggles to have an identity beyond being a piece of lost history brought back for preservation. In reality, it should have stayed lost forever. RPGamer gave Traysia 1.5 out of 5. For more detail, hit up the link in the description below. For more video content, subscribe to the channel. Follow us on Twitch for daily stream of your favorite RPGs. Join on the discussion at RPGamer.com on Discord. And for the latest in RPG news, head over to RPGamer.com.